Hi everybody, this is Jack Butler. Thanks for dropping by and having a look at the Conscious Change Agent. So what's it all about? Well, the Conscious Change Agent is really a way of thinking about what it means to be a successful human being. Whether we realize it or not, we're all living into some definition of success. Some of us, success really looks like external success. You know, success in my career, success in my work, maybe the right car on the drive, or maybe the right house, or maybe raising my family to a certain set of ideals or standards, or maybe being positively regarded in the eyes of my community. And all those things are obviously important at some level. For some of you, you might have a definition of success which is much more internal. You know, it's much more about what's your purpose, what's really important to you. How can you express your emotions? How can you process your journey? How can you live a life according to the values that you hold most dear? And you'll place less interest and importance on the outside things and more interest on the internal things. So here's my theory, it's not just mine, it's one that other people share. How about you? How can you really do both those things? How can you live a life that's successful internally and successful externally? How can you be someone who's internally conscious and at the same time you're a change agent? You're making good things happen in the world, however you define them, whether that's as a business person, whether that's as a writer, teacher, parent, media specialist, whatever your area is. How can you be someone who makes a positive contribution to society? Because if you're part of the tribe that we're putting together here, probably you'll agree that your life isn't purely about you, that there's some bigger purpose of why you're here. And we want to help people tap into that purpose, that thing that you're kind of uniquely qualified for. The thing that if someone said, hey, you were placed in this world into order to do this thing or be this person, what would that be? And that may sound philosophical or spiritual to you. I think it's actually pretty practical. If you think of the extent of specialization we have in society these days, this really is the time for you to contribute the thing that's most meaningful and most you, whatever that is. This tribe is full of people who are globally minded. You know, they take an interest in other countries. Their sense of identity is not nation-centric. This community is full of people who want to make a difference, however that is. It's full of people who want to have fun and adventure and a lifestyle that really works for them, so that they work when they want to work, they work from the places they want to work from, and they spend their time doing things that they really want to do. At the same time, it's for people who are asking serious questions about what it really means to be a human being, and how do you express the full flavor of what it is to be a human being. So I talk to people about full spectrum development. That's a fancy term. What does it mean really? It means how can you express yourself and develop yourself on all fronts? Cognitively, emotionally, physically, financially, morally, and so on and so forth. You know, if any of you are interested in the work of Howard Gardner and multiple intelligences, how can you expand your capacity across those intelligence lines? So the Conscious Change Agent is for people who want to integrate those things, who want to make those things meaningful in their life. We talk about having a high definition life. You know, high definition life, much like your plasma, is really about living a life that puts attention crisply on the things that are most important to you. I don't presume to know what they are, but I do think it's true, and you'll probably agree with me, that when people focus on the things that are truly meaningful to them, that's when you really light up. That's when you feel like your life has purpose and momentum. Part of being a conscious change agent is being able to have vision and really being able to marry that with detail, execution, and planning. Because in my experience, most of us fall more comfortably one side of the fence or other. If those of you aware of the work of David Allen and GTD, he would talk about perspective on the one hand and control on the other, and which of those axes come more naturally to you. I know for me, it's been on the vision side. You know, I found it much easier to create ideas and brainstorms about what it is I want to do in the future than actually sit down and very concretely go, what are the priorities today and what do I really need to get done? So I created the Conscious Change Agent from my own experiences of being a change agent. You know, at the age of 21, having only worked for a year outside of university, I graduated when I was 20 with a first-class degree from Cambridge in politics and psychology. I wanted to go into the world of helping people, fulfilling potential, personal development in some way. And I started this organisation, Future Foundations, which still runs today and works with over 5,000 young people a year in the UK. Fantastic organisation doing great work. And Future Foundations was about empowering people to live a life that they really want to live. And at the same time, in my process of building and leading and creating that organisation, I found it was hard to always stay in contact with the things that are important to me. And if I put my intention firmly on my work, I felt like other things suffered, and I started to get issues around back pain and not being able to sit down for long periods of time and not being able to play the sport that I'd always played. If I put more attention on spiritual life or developing a meditation practice or a yoga practice, I felt like I wasn't being effective in my work. So I set out, I took 18 months out of my life and I traveled and I found some of the best teachers on earth to try and say, hey, how do you put this stuff together? How can you be both an entrepreneurial and conscious and socially minded person who also values health, relationship and home life? How do you put all that together? Because oftentimes people are very spiritual and conscious, they're not able to create decent change in the world, or they're not able to create stability and financial stability and really take good care of themselves. Or sometimes the people that take good care of themselves don't really take good care of the community. It's like, how can you be a person who's balanced across all those fronts? And I know that that balance is going to be different for each of us. But I think at some level we know that all those different parts are important, and it doesn't just work as I used to try and hope by saying, oh, I'll put 2 hours a week on this and this and this and this and this. You just get frazzled. So how do you really integrate that stuff, and how do you create a life of intentional congruence where everything that you put your attention on is really something you've designed to have in your life? So I'm a synthesizer. And having spent time traveling and meeting with and interviewing with and studying with, as I say, some of the greatest teachers on earth, and things like the Enneagram, going on spiritual retreats, studying with the Ridwan School, studying integral theory, and a whole set of approaches to mature adult development. I've brought that stuff together. So I come first as a student and second as a teacher. But like anything in life, if you focus on it for long enough, you start to raise your awareness, you get new distinctions, and you get ideas that actually have traction. So if what I'm saying is of interest to you, I'd love you to check out the offerings we have. There's plenty of free stuff on this site. We've got blogs, I've got videos, and at the same time, we've also got a monthly subscription service for those of you that want to take it to a bit more of a serious level. In that subscription service, you're going to get a couple of teaching segments every month. You're going to get to network with like-minded people. We've got a private members forum. We do a monthly mastermind Q&A. We also have exclusive content from other associates of mine. And you get discounts on any other service. So it's a fantastic community to be part of. Beyond that, we also have live events. You know, at the moment running in Colorado, but in autumn throughout the US. We're running the Academy for Conscious Change Agents, which is a weekend immersion program that helps people really dig deep in all these areas. You know, how do you marry vision and execution? How do you live from your head, heart, and gut? How do you live in your 3 instincts? Your sexual, social, and self-preservation instincts. And I'm going to go into detail about that here, but it's basically how do you stop your life being constantly skewed by unconscious processes, so that you can live a life of balance, of freedom, of presence, all the things that you probably hold dear, but sometimes don't put requisite attention on. We also have an annual summit, which is a global gathering of the tribe that's going on in July in Boulder, sunny Boulder. Come and join us for that. So there's plenty of stuff to check out. If any of this resonates with you, I'd love you to take an action. And I'd love you just to join the mailing list and stay in touch with what we're doing. You can unsubscribe at any time, but when you do subscribe, you're going to get some free videos from me explaining what I'm talking about here in much more detail. You also get entered into our monthly draw to win 3 months free membership to our monthly community subscription service. And depending on when you're looking at this, we may even be running a competition to win a Kindle. So there's plenty of reasons just to get involved. I'd love you to stick your email address in. It's just over there on the right-hand side of the homepage, and in fact any page on this site. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. You know, my last encouragement for you is to think about what are those things in your life that you've always felt were possible but you've never really committed to finding out how to do them. That's really what the Conscious Change Agent is about at some level. If you think there's a way to be different things in the world at the same time so that you're not purely defined by a persona, by a role, or by a particular relationship, then I want you to dig in and take a look at this. I don't come to you as the expert, I come to you as someone who's synthesized some fantastic ideas that are out there, and I'm trying to make it easy for people who want to connect with this line of work. It's not for beginners. If you've never come across personal development or personal growth work before, I'd encourage you to go and look at some of the people in the market that do empowerment work, or if you've never come across the idea of unconditional surrender or loving what is or accepting reality, I'd advise you to go and look into some of the New Age stuff that deals with that. But if you want the new school of personal development that really unites the best of the empowerment and old school of personal development with some of the New Age practices, but puts it together as an effective human being who can display excellence and competence in the world, that's what I'm driving at. So I'd love to have you as part of that. Again, enter your email address, get involved. You have a great day. Thanks for listening.